Today on Bonsai by the Samurai, I'm going to take you on a tour of my bonsai garden as we move into the fall season. First of all, we'll look at this bougainvillea that's starting to bloom again. We hear the roosters in the background crowing, and we move on to the next tree. We approach the next bougainvillea that has had all its wire removed. It lost every leaf and is now regrowing at an alarming rate. Not every bougainvillea is doing very well. This tall cascade has been suffering for a little while now, but I have high hopes for it. This next cutting of a bougainvillea is sitting next to this dwarf Mexican petunia in a Mexican pot. Another Mexican pot with the large Mexican petunia that produced the cuttings that you saw a moment ago. Cuttings from my jade forest that will go into the forest next time I repot it. Then we have a little variegated portulacara and a baby desert rose. And here we have the string of frogs with a mountain. Did you know that the string of frogs is also a ficus? As we look beyond, we can see the green gem ficus with the baby tears growing up the sides of the container. And then we shift to this mountain that I made and put in a Lowe's container after drilling holes, and it has 3 green gem ficuses growing in it with baby tears growing up the side of the mountain. And then we'll take a look at my latest 2 slabs, one with the edging and the one that I completed today, which is going to be the last of the slabs and pots that I do for a while until they start selling. Here we have a tiny ficus, a willow leaf that's growing next to this little samurai root over rock. And then we have another ficus here with a cheetah walking around, growing out of a natural rock, which is bog iron, supported with a Florida rock. And notice the squirrel in the background. Looking at the really small stuff that I have, we have 2 Fukian teas and 3 portulacara afras, mini jades, elephant bushes, and a little cacti. And next to it is a very shallow pot with another portulacara afra and another jade cutting next to one of my more recent slabs with my full-size jade plant forest with 3 giraffes and another recent slab that I made, along with my sunbathing under another mini jade or portulacara afra, and my big wooden squirrel. We have quite the squirrel population here. It was recently that a friend of mine gave me this angel wing begonia, and I gave up some cuttings to this what we call bro's tail. It's a succulent, and behind it stands the large Megado fernwood snake plant. Of course, we mustn't forget the spider plant. That spider plant was in a swan that I repaired and painted, and here's another spider plant in a bonsai container. And here's a whole slew of recent pottery that I've made. We got a black concrete, a tan concrete, the one I call the flame, and then what I'm calling my juniper pot of the future. One of my most recent acquisitions is this willow leaf ficus that I made a concrete pot in, and I show several videos in the making of it. Next to this we have a gardenia that has many blossoms getting ready to pop out on it. And next to it we have another willow leaf ficus, one of my favorite mudmen. I'm trying to grow it rather large. Next to that I have what I call the octopus. And we come up with the Chinese elms. There's 3 in the group. I call it the wayward son. And you notice the mother and father are very straight, but the son has a contorted trunk. Next to that is my bald cypress with the shari. And then we have the tiger bark ficus growing on the slate, which looks like black lava. Here we have a rather large group of cuttings of yucca that are growing very well. Rounding to the side of the house, we have the Florida river maple hanging out in the shade. Getting closer to the roosters now, we have my slash pine in a tall cascade pot. And we have the 7-tree ficus group with Ficus benjamina on the outside and 1 green gem in the middle. And we have a new visitor walking around in the midst of the baby tears. Here we have this 5-year-old cutting of a Portulacara afra, which most of my other small ones came from this one. This is Scarface, a 2 little ficus that has been around since 2012 and is starting to come back and reverting to a Ficus benjamina. Here I have the largest of my trees. It's a fusion of Ficus benjamina. Well, I'm up on the scene with my yuccas, and this is a concrete pot that I made and actually revamped it 3 different times now. And this is sort of my oldest yucca in a pot now. I've added a new little lantern, my mudman that's looking at the rock. And here is the dragon holding up the yucca. Let's take a look at our desert roses now. This white one's in bloom. The black sheep is not in bloom at the moment. The twins, who were grown from cuttings, are getting rather large and are in bloom at the moment. Both my willow leaf desert rose and my new addition desert rose have not bloomed yet. And then there's this desert rose that just bloomed for the first time. It was a gift from a friend. The desert rose that never has bloomed is in a monster pot now, and no blooms inside. Now a look at my junipers. These are both Kishu Shimpaku. Here's my nicest persona that'll be going into that blue rectangular pot in the near future. This is a Proconums nana in training. It's very full, doing very well. This is the last of my junipers that will be going into a different training pot come spring or late winter. On the outskirts of the garden is this Portocarpus. I just wish it all the best. Here is my oak tree, Florida river oak, or Florida swamp oak, live oak, you got me. Here is one of the other mountains that I've made with baby tears growing all over it and a little willow leaf ficus double trunk coming out. This here is my first mountain, and this is my elephant bush bridge with raft and elephants. One of my favorite trees is this willow leaf ficus. It's been doing rather well. Weeping Barbados cherry that's going on 15 years old. Here we have a golem jade that I started about 3 years ago. Here we have a bunch of very small stuff mainly ficuses and primnas and sea hibiscus and a black olive and a jasmine vine. Portulacara offers some of the unique succulents that's in the garden. Going down to this variegated Portulacara, and next to this lavender star. And we have a crown of thorns and another one of these rather large succulents. Let's not forget the yucca over Corvette. And we're finishing up with this black pine. Well, I hope you enjoyed my fall bonsai tour of my garden. Until next time, have a wonderful day.